So happy morning, guys. Let's start the session. So this is what um, expansion and contraction we have discussed, and even we have discussed water. Even we have discussed this shift in demand curve. So expansion and contraction is based on its own price. Okay. Can you able to see the image? So can you able to see the file? Am I audible? Both of them.
Yes, sir.
Can you able to see the this file what I have shared?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So you can see the price. So only because of a decrease, fall in price and increase in price, what happened? The curve moves, the demand curve moves leftward and upward and downward. Okay. So that means all the other factors they made constant. Okay. All the other factors they made constant. You can see. So price, it's a price of expectation change in price in future, and then income of the consumer, demand, the what substitute goods and complementary goods, all those goods they made it as a constant. So that's why only due to its own price, what happened, the demand curves moves forward and upward. Now we will discuss shift in demand curve. Shift in demand curve already discussed. So apart from its price, okay, its price seems to be constant, but due to some other reasons. Last class, even I have told you, suppose income of the consumer increases, what we will do? We will consume more. The price will be same, but the consumption will be more. So in that case, what will happen? The demand curve moves left for a shift. Okay, the demand curve will shift in which direction? Left for direction. So income due to pandemic, they have reduced the income. So income கம்மியாச்சுன்னா now the consumption will decrease. So the demand curve moves in. Um, sorry, this is rightward direction and leftward direction. Got my point? So up to this, we have discussed previous session. Fine, you can see. So increase in demand. So increase in demand refers to increase in demand of commodity cost due to any factor other than the own price of the commodity. Okay. For example, what the crackers you can see in our crackers for Diwali will buy more, yeah, and sweets, especially sweets. So during normal days, we will not buy sweets. Yes or no? So 1 kg gulab jamun 20 rupees means in normal days. Now we won't buy much and we won't consume much. During festival time, we'll buy much. Yeah. So you can see what happens. The price of the commodity remains constant, but the demand increases. It's because of what it because of other factors. Even another example, the consumer. Suppose the consumer for Varshini, okay, she is getting 25,000 salary. So all of a sudden she got increment. Now she is withdrawing 40,000 salary. Then what we will do? Her consumption will increase. Okay, so that is what the shift in. So in that case, what will happen? The price seems to be constant. Only the demand curve moves rightward direction. That is called as what? Shift in rightward shift in demand curve. What about leftward shift? The same price. Yes. So this is festival time. We will buy more sweets. Or when consumer gets more salary, bonus, increment, incentives, they will consume a lot sweets. But what happened? The same price. It's not a festival time. Okay, what happened? You can see the demand. You can take any commodity. So demand for sweets or any other commodity. Due to this pandemic, most of the people they lost their job. Most of them are unemployed. Most of them are getting 50% salary. So what they will do, they will reduce the consumption. So even the price is same, but the consumption is, this is what you can see. While reading, we will know. The decrease in demand refer to fall in demand of a commodity caused due to any other factor other than its own price. Okay, other than its own price of the commodity. Whereas you can see the price here, there is expansion and contraction. When price falls 20 rupees to 50 rupees, the demand increases 100 to 150. Here the price falls, so the price increases. What happened from 100 to 70? The consumption of that particular commodity decreases. This is what expansion and contraction. Whereas in shift in the leftward shift and rightward shift, the demand curve moves because of other factors, not because of the price. Price you can see constant. This one also price constant. Clear? Any doubts? Are you all there, guys?
No doubt, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay. So yesterday, have you attended that program? How was it? Anyone? Has anyone attended that program? No.
No, sir.
It's okay. So fine. This is movement of demand curve. Okay, movement along demand curve and shift in demand curve. Difference between movement in demand curve and shift in demand curve. Movement means what? Rightward movement, leftward movement. Okay, shift in the sense just now we have discussed. You can see the entire curve will move rightward shift, leftward shift. You can see when quantity demand changes due to change in price, but keeping other factors. What are the other factors? Individual determinants of individual demand and market demand, like what price of substitute goods, price of complementary goods, then price of what expectation of change in price in future, then taste and preference, then consumers income. So these are all what the factors. So these things remains constant. Only price of its own commodity, say price of apple falls down because of what apple itself. So that means what will happen? There will be a movement in curve. Okay. But in shift in curve, when we can able to see the shift, you can see the when the demand of the when demand changes due to change in any factor other than its own price. Any factor, for example, season. So in rainy season, we won't need much fruits. So what will happen? The demand for that fruits will fall down, and during summer season, they will consume more fruits. Okay. So in that case, the price of the commodity seems to be constant. Only the demand for the commodity changes. So the effect of demand curve in a effect curve, you can see the movement along the same demand curve is either upward or downward. That is either contraction or expansion. What is contraction? So this is demand curve. So when price falls down, it is what expansion. Okay. When price falls, it increases. This is the demand curve decreases. Okay, the demand will decrease. This is called contraction. This is called expansion. Okay. So whereas here in shift in demand curve, what will happen? Either the curve moves, the price seems to be constant. Okay. So this is demand. So due to what increase in demand, the demand curve moves either rightward shift or leftward shift. It depends upon the situation. So, what is the reason for change in movement in demand? It is what only increase or decrease in price of the commodity. Okay, increase in price, decrease of onion. So here in what shift in demand curve, apart from the price of onion, all the other goods like substitute goods, their price may be கம்மியா இருக்கலாம். Okay, or else complementary goods may increase இருக்கலாம். Okay, or else income of the consumer may decrease or increase. So all these things are the factors which will affect the demand curve. So in that case, there will be leftward shift and rightward shift. Can you able to follow me?
Yes, sir.
So what is quantity demanded and what change in demand? So already we have discussed in a previous topic quantity demanded versus change in demand. படிச்சிருக்கோம் ஞாபகம் இருக்கா?
Yes, sir.
Where we studied demand itself we have studied. So you can see quantity demanded, change in quantity demanded, change in demand. இது என்ன படிச்சிருக்கோம் quantity demanded, the same what we have discussed now. So the only own price, change in own price. The demand changes based on its own price, which is to be called as change in quantity demanded. Okay, Pepsi na Pepsi price. Just now previously, what example we have discussed, the price of onion, or price of orange. Okay, so it increase may decrease because of its own what reason. Whereas change in demand, for what will happen, the price of the given commodity seems to be constant. Okay, you can see changes due to other factors other than price. So that is what change in demand. So this is what again repeats here. Okay, that's why I will just so you can see the same point. So quantity when the quantity demanded changes due to change in price. Other factors keeping constant. What are the other factors? The determinants of demand, both individual and market. Okay, so what is in determinants of individual demand? That is change in price of substitute goods, change in price of complementary goods, change in consumers' income, expectation change in price of future, then what taste and preference, then population and size, then season and weather. Okay, then distribution of income. All these things are the factors. Okay. So only எல்லாத்தையும் வந்து நமக்கு கான்ஸ்டன்டா வச்சுக்கிட்டு only price of its own commodity will called as change in quantity demanded. So what is change in demand? You can see the other factors seems to be changes. Only what in our price seems to be constant. The one price when the demand changes due to when the demand changes due to change in price of any other factor other than its own price. So that is for change in demand. So what about the changes in the effect on demand curve? The same here what we have discussed. You can see the same effects. Figure number 3.4, 3.4. Either there is a contraction or expansion. Okay, the same either contraction or expansion. Here also the same contraction or expansion. That is the thing will happen. What about change in demand? Either there is leftward shift or rightward shift. The same effect what we have discussed here, rightward shift or leftward shift. So what's the reason? The same reason. Okay, it occurs due to increase in, you can see, increase or decrease of the given commodity. Okay, so it is occurs due to increase or decrease in the price of the given commodity. The same reason which comes here. So do I need to explain more further? You can see change in demand and what a shift in demand. It occurs due to you can see it occurs due to change in other factors like change in price of substitutes, change in price of complementary goods, change in income. Okay. So this is what the difference between change in quantity demand and change in demand. So once you study one single topic, you can able to answer for two different questions. You can able to answer movement along with demand curve and shift in demand curve, or else quantity in the change in quantity demanded versus change in demand. So now expansion, okay, expansion or increase. What is expansion and what is increase? We'll discuss one by one. Okay, so expansion and demand. When the demand, what is the meaning? When the quantity demand rises due to increase in price, keeping other factor constant, it is known as expansion in demand. You can see. So keeping all the other factors constant. What we have discussed the same here. So once you prepare the same topic, you can able to answer three different questions. So when quantity demand changes due to decrease, okay, in price, keeping other factor constant. Okay, expand. Okay, expansion means water. So the demand curve will increase. So when we will, so this is what demand curve. Okay, so what will happen? This is normally demand curve. When price decreases, what will happen? That time we can expect expansion. Okay, so when price increases, so what will happen? The demand curve and then now expand out. So that is what here they are said. You can see the price from 12 rupees to 10 rupees. That price falls down. So what about the demand curve? Demand expands, right? So what about this increase in demand? Increase in demand refers to raise in demand for the commodity cost due to any other factor other than its own price. Okay, the price seems to be constant, but the demand increases. Why? That is what increase in demand. When it will happen, suppose a consumer's income is higher. Okay, so or else due to this pandemic, the consumer's income falls down. Okay, so what will happen? The consumption may increase, but here according to increase in demand, the consumer's income might increase, or else price of substitute goods may increase. So now automatically the demand for the given commodity will increase. Are you able to follow me, guys? Are you all there? Can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Class முடிஞ்சா? Class முடிஞ்சா? So next, reason. What is the reason for a expansion change? What fall in price? You can see from 12 to 10. Fall in price. That's the reason what happened. The expansion of demand curve. So what is the reason for this increase in demand? So other factors price on the ಇருக்கு ಜಾಸ್ತಿ ಇருக்கு. Okay, so apart from its own price, demand changes based on other factors. Any doubts?
No doubt, sir.
So it is same, vice versa. Okay, vice versa means opposite. Like you can see. What about contraction of demand? When you can see what is contraction means, we know very well. Yeah, the demand curve falls down. You can see this is what normal demand curve. Okay, so when price increases, what will happen? There will be contraction. So what will happen? This is our demand curve when I moves upward. Okay, so this is quantity, this is Q1, this is price one. So when 20 rupees to the price increases to 40 rupees, automatically the demand will contract. Okay, so what happened? Contraction. So when the quantity demand falls due to increase in price, when price increases, you can see 10 rupees to 12. So what happened? The demand decreases. That is the meaning and there is the reason also. So what will happen? The reason also what happened? Increase in price. Okay. So what about decrease in demand? Decrease in demand. What happened? The here we have studied increase in price of any other commodity. For example, substitute goods price ಜಾಸ್ತಿ ಇರக்கலாம், or else might be consumers income might be increased. So in that case what happened? The consumption may increase. So what about decrease in demand? Either due to the pandemic the consumers income might fall, or else due to what season and weather. So during rainy season we will need more umbrellas, but what winter season we don't want much umbrellas, so automatically the consumption of umbrella will less. So that's why you can see the change in decrease in demand. What happened? Either the price seems to be constant, but decrease in any other factor. Okay, clear? Any doubts, guys? Any doubts?
No doubt, sir.
Okay, fine. Next one we are about to discuss substitute goods and complementary goods. So what is substitute goods? So either tea or coffee, that is called substitute goods. Complementary goods means two or more together goods to form a complementary, right? For example, if we need to make tea, we need milk, we need sugar, we need water, yeah. So and we need tea dust. So for two or more goods, which is to be called to form a single good, that is called as complementary goods. So fine. So substitute goods are goods which can be used in a place of one another for satisfaction of particular one, like tea and coffee. Okay. You can see when what happened, the price of now what happened, they are saying the demand of the commodity varies directly when the price of substitute goods. So what happened, you can see when the tea on the low tea they are selling it for 10 rupees, and coffee they are selling it for 15 rupees. What happened? So according to example, let me give you an example. So here what happened? Um, the demand for a commodity varies directly when the change in price of substitute goods. If price of substitute goods, say coffee, increases, the demand for commodity, say tea, will increase. So will rise as a tea will become more relatively cheaper in the comparison to coffee. Yes or no? So what happened? Tea is 10 rupees, coffee is 15 rupees. But what happened due to some change, due to some reason, the price of coffee increases to 20. So automatically, and now that there is no change in price of tea, but what automatically what happened? Uh, the price for given goods, the price of tea is seems to be constant, but price of coffee increase anagati ennachu. Sales for tea increases like massively. As seen in diagram, price of coffee is shown in y-axis. Okay, you can see the price of coffee. This is demand for tea. When price of coffee, that is 15 rupees to 20 rupees. When price increases, when price of coffee increases, the demand for tea, what happened from the 10 to even the to the coffee lovers, because coffee or price irukangati, they will go for tea. This is human nature or not? Yes. Am I audible, guys?
Yes, sir.
So usually we will do the same, right? Normally, like every normal human being, we will do the same. Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
Okay, fine. So next one is complementary goods. What is complementary goods? The goods which are used together to get satisfaction. So I give you a tea without milk. Will you be happy? Will you get happy? Satisfaction. So or else I'm giving you a tea without sugar. Will you get satisfaction? Um, will you get satisfaction? No, right? So you can see this is demand price of sugar, demand for tea. Okay, what happened? The price of sugar. So the complementary goods and the two goods to together we use the goods to get satisfaction. Demand for the given commodity vice versa varies inversely with the price of complementary goods. For example, if price of complementary goods say sugar increases, the demand for commodity falls down. Yes or no? So it falls. They will fall as it relatively costlier to use both goods together. Let us understand this through this example. So you can see. So the price of sugar increases. So this is what normal demand curve. So okay, when price of sugar increases from 100 to 200, what happen? The consumption of tea also falls down. This is example every market like diesel car and petrol car. Okay, when price of petrol increases in Nago, sales of diesel car will increase, right? Yes, yes or no? When price of petrol falls down, sales of diesel car falls down. Actually, there is no relevance between price and diesel. So, but the thing has happened in our country. Okay, that is what human nature. Can you able to understand the example what I have quoted? So you can
Yes,
see when
sir.
sugar price of sugar increases, okay, we didn't increase tea price. So tea price seems to be constant only. But another, the price of sugar increase or mother, what will happen? We need to adjust the price in tea, right? So the consumption of tea will decrease. So again, difference between complementary goods and substitute goods. So we know substitute. What is substitute goods? Either Pepsi or Coke, okay, or tea or coffee, or Miranda or Fanta. Okay, so this is what the close substitution means. They will similar to each other, like what McDonald's and KFC. So these are all the substitution. But whereas complementary means what together we will use to make a good. Okay, so what that is what complementary. We already know that. So nature of demand. So substitute goods have competitive demand. Yes or no? So they are always competitive. When tea price falls down, what will happen? It will affect the coffee. When coffee price falls down, it will affect the tea. So it will have a close relationship to each other. And it is what about this complementary goods? That is joint demand. Okay, so when price of sugar increases, the sales of tea decreases. Or as price of milk increases, uh, when price of milk increases, sales of tea will decrease. So it is joined together. So what are the relation we discussed just now? What are the examples? You can see the examples. Already I said tea and coffee, Coke and Pepsi, then tea and sugar, then car and petrol. These are the examples. Any doubts, guys? Any doubts?
No doubt, sir.
Hello, Srinidhi.